You think you know ancient Rome, marble statues, grand arenas, proud legions. The truth hits harder. You would not last one day. The water poisoned you. The food sickened you. Streets swarmed with thieves. The air burned your lungs with smoke and rotting waste. Gladiators fought for breath, not glory. Doctors used tools coated in blood from the last patient. Children worked until their hands bled. You clicked this title because you want the truth. So listen close. Ancient Rome looks impressive on postcards, but daily life broke bodies and crushed souls. You walk through the gates with confidence. By sunset, you beg for escape. One day feels longer than a lifetime. This story shows what survival meant in Rome. You take your first step into ancient Rome. The stone gate towers above you. Sunlight blinds you for a moment. Noise hits you next. Merchants shout. Donkeys bray. Soldiers push people aside. You smell smoke, sweat, wine, and fish at the same time. Your head spins. You try to breathe, but the air feels thick. A man bumps your shoulder and keeps walking. No apology. No eye contact. You feel alone in a crowd. You expect order in the heart of an empire. You find chaos. The roads look uneven. Stones shift under your feet. Chariots race by with no warning. A wheel misses you by inches. Drivers never slow. Traffic belongs to the strongest, not the polite. You find your way to the water fountain. You feel thirst from the heat. The fountain looks cold and clean from a distance. Marble lions spit steady streams. People line up with clay cups. A woman fills a jar. Children splash their hands. You reach out to drink. A man grabs your wrist and shakes his head. He points to the side of the fountain. You look closer. A pipe runs from the fountain into an open channel on the ground. Dirty water flows down the gutter. Rats drink from it. People dump waste into the same channel. The fountain water once passed through lead pipes. The clean look hides poison. You step back. Thirst stays. You turn to food. Your stomach begs. You walk toward the bread stalls. Bakers sell loaves on wooden tables. The loaves look rough and dark. You ask for one. The baker weighs it in his hand and names a price. You pay and take a bite. Your teeth hit something hard. You spit it out. A pebble rolls out. Then a second. Bakers mix sand and crushed bones into dough to stretch flour. Many Romans lose teeth from these loaves. You feel a sharp chip on one tooth. Pain spreads through your jaw. You move on. You hear laughter from a tavern. You step inside. The room fills with smoke from oil lamps. The wine tastes sour. The meat looks grey. Flies circle. A bowl of stew sits on a table. You dip a spoon, taste it, and gag. The meat's spoiled. You hear a cough from the kitchen. Someone stirs a pot with a dirty hand. You leave fast. Hunger stays. You walk deeper into the city. The streets narrow. Buildings lean over the road. Laundry hangs from windows. People shout from balconies. You hear a baby cry. A woman yells at a neighbor. Trash fills corners. Sewer channels run down the center of streets. They stink. Some houses dump waste from windows. You jump aside when a bucket splashes near your feet. You hear a scream. A boy chases a thief who stole his bag. No one helps. The thief disappears into a crowd. Pickpockets work fast. They cut belts with knives, grab rings from fingers, and vanish. You guard your pockets. You press your hand against your clothes. You feel eyes on you. You reach a small shop that sells fruit. Apples sit on a table. Grapes fill a basket. You look closer. Worms crawl in the apples. Mold covers the grapes. Fruit sellers pay no refunds. You leave in the forum. Crowds gather near orators. A speaker shouts about taxes. Another demands justice for veterans. A third sells love potions. Voices mix. People argue. Soldiers watch. You expect peace. You find tension. One wrong word brings fists or blades. You step through an alley. The smell thickens. Smoke, oil, dung. You hear coughing from every doorway. People inhale charcoal and oil smoke daily. Lungs break down fast. Children cough until they pass out. You cover your mouth. It does nothing. A physician's shop sits near a bathhouse. You walk inside. The doctor wears a stained tunic. Metal tools hang from hooks. None look clean. He wraps used bandages on a patient. Blood stains the floor. The doctor asks if you need treatment. You see the last patient limp on a bench. His wound bleeds through cloth. You back out the door. You look toward the famous Roman baths, hoping for rest. A long line waits at the entrance. You join them. The bathhouses draw everyone. Senators, farmers, traders, thieves. Inside, you undress and sit on a stone bench. Steam fills the air. You enter a warm pool. For a moment, you feel comfort. But the pool holds water used by hundreds. Sweat, dirt, and disease float unseen. You look into the next room. Slaves scrub strangers with shared sponges. They clean wounds in the same bath where children splash. Infection spreads fast. You climb out. You dress and leave. Night falls. The city does not soften. Darkness hides deeper danger. Oil lamps flicker. Shadows stretch across stone walls. Thieves roam in packs. Some hide near corners and wait for victims. You hear soft footsteps behind you. You walk faster. You reach a guard patrol. They question you because you look lost. You answer with calm words. They let you go. You breathe out. You learn one rule. Rome respects strength, not confusion. You search for a place to sleep. Inns stand full and loud. Men drink and fight in halls. You push open a door to a small lodging house. The owner points to a cot. A man on the next cot coughs blood into a bowl. The smell of sickness spreads. You leave again. You see people sleeping outside. Families lie on blankets near walls. Their children shiver. Dogs sniff around them. You pick a spot under an arch. You lie down. Stone bites into your back. You wrap your arms around yourself. Your eyes close, but sleep will not come. Rats crawl near your feet. A dog growls at you. You sit up and stay awake until dawn. At sunrise, you feel weaker than the day before. Hunger burns. Thirst aches. Your legs shake. You spent one night. You survived it, but not well. You look around and see crowds rushing to markets, work, baths, temples, or courts. They push through hardship each day. You feel respect, fear, and shock. You came to ancient Rome expecting glory and comfort. You found danger and illness. You understand why many Romans lived short lives. Food, water, air, and streets worked against survival. You lasted one day. You do not know if you last another. This chapter sets your first day in ancient Rome. The next chapter will show how homes, jobs, and family life pushed Romans toward danger. You will meet slaves, workers, nobles, and children, and see how they fought to stay alive. Morning light finds you exhausted. Your stomach twists. Your throat feels dry. You follow a crowd heading toward the insulae. These are tall apartment blocks. They look strong from a distance. Up close, they look fragile. Cracks show on walls. Wooden beams stick out. Bricks loosen. The buildings lean. One spark or loud crash might bring them down. Families live in these rooms. Poor families stay on higher floors. Richer tenants stay near the ground. You climb a thin staircase with uneven steps. The railing shakes. A child runs past you carrying a clay jug. His foot slips. The jug falls and shatters. He looks at the broken pieces. His mother pulls him inside before the landlord sees. You look into one room. A family of 5 sleeps on straw. Smoke from a small fire hangs in the air. A pot boils on a brick hearth. The mother stirs weak porridge. The father patches sandals with leather scraps. The children cough. The room has one small window. The walls trap heat and smoke. Breathing feels heavy. A voice above shouts. You hear wood crack. Dust falls from the ceiling. Tenants below flinch. They fear collapse every hour. Many insulae fall without warning. When they fall, people die before they take a step. You leave the stairs and move back to the street. You follow workers heading toward the forum. Laborers wait for jobs. Stonecutters, carpenters, porters, scribes. A foreman points at a group and orders them to a construction site. You ask about wages. A porter explains that work pays little. Some work all day for bread, not coins. If they fail to find work, they go hungry. Slaves stand nearby. Some wear iron collars. Some wear chains. Many look thin. A merchant inspects them. He checks teeth and muscles. He buys 2 for his workshop. The others wait. Slaves face beatings for slow work. They sleep in storerooms. Food arrives in small bowls. Sickness spreads fast among them. You watch guards lead them away. You walk toward shops on a crowded street. You pass a bakery with a stone oven. The heat feels strong. Slaves knead dough until their arms shake. The baker curses. He worries about grain prices. If supplies drop, bread shrinks. Angry crowds form when bread shrinks. Bakers fear riots. You see a butcher. Meat hangs from hooks. Flies land on it. The butcher swats them away with a cloth. Dogs lick drips on the floor. Customers buy anyway, because meat stays rare for poor families. They cook it long to kill disease. Many still fall sick. You pass a barber shop. Barbers shave faces and cut hair. They also pull teeth. One man cries as the barber yanks a rotten tooth with iron pliers. The barber wipes the tool on his tunic. He reaches for the next customer. Pain rules daily life here. A teacher walks with children. Students carry wax tablets and the teacher shouts lessons. Wealthy boys learn reading and math. Poor children work in shops or fields. Some become apprentices. Some die young from accidents or sickness. Childhood ends fast. Smoke rises from forges. Blacksmiths hammer iron, sparks fly, heat burns their skin. They breathe dust and smoke. They work from sunrise to sunset. Their backs bend, their lungs weaken, their hands shake from strain. The crowd pushes you toward a textile workshop. Women spin wool. They sit close on wooden benches. Their fingers move fast. Their eyes strain. Dust fills the room. The owner watches them. If one slows, he yells. They weave for hours with little rest. Blindness follows many weavers. Outside, a beggar sits against a wall. His leg looks broken. A wooden crutch lies beside him. He reaches out for coins. Most walk past. A child throws a small crust. The beggar nods in thanks. Life gives him nothing else. A noble man passes in a litter carried by slaves. Guards march beside him. He never touches the dirt below. The crowd shifts to give space. The noble's tunic shines with color. Food and water reach his house fresh each day. His life stands far from the street. A woman hurries by with a newborn wrapped in cloth. She stops at a fountain. She looks at the water. She takes a small sip. She knows the risk, but thirst pushes her. She drinks. She gives a drop to her child. Illness hides in every sip. You feel the scale of life here. Wealth sits in pockets. Poverty fills the rest. Some sleep in villas with pools and gardens. Others sleep in alleys with rats. Some eat olives and wine. Others eat crusts and hope. You reach a small temple. A priest stands near the entrance. People bring offerings. One woman offers a loaf. She prays for safe childbirth. A man offers coins. He prays for a strong harvest. Faith gives comfort when nothing else does. Nearby, a funeral passes. Slaves carry a body wrapped in cloth. Family members walk behind. They chant. The procession heads toward a pyre outside the walls. Death surrounds this place. Fires burn day and night. Smoke carries the scent of loss. You see children playing with sticks and stones. They laugh. They run barefoot on cracked pavement. Their feet bleed, but they do not stop. Childhood holds moments of joy, even in rough streets. You smile for a second, then see a boy stumble and scrape his knee. He cries. His mother grabs him and scolds him for moving too fast. There is no patience. Work waits at home. You walk toward the river. The Tiber looks wide and strong. Boats carry goods across the current. The water looks brown. Waste dumps into it. People wash clothes in it. They bathe in it. They dump ashes in it. You touch a drop and smell it. You step back fast. A man next to you fishes with a net. He pulls a few small fish. He puts them in a basket. He will sell them for dinner. The fish swim in waste. Buyers know but ignore it. Hunger wins. You hear soldiers training nearby. They shout rhythm. They strike shields. They stomp dust. Soldiers eat better than most. They march long distances. They fight in far lands. Many return with scars. Some return in wagons. Some never return. You watch a group of slaves carry stones. Their backs bend. Sweat drips. A guard cracks a stick against one of them for slowing down. The slave falls. The others keep lifting. No one stops to help. The guard orders the body dragged to the side. Work must continue. You see why daily life here shortens years. Smoke fills lungs. Hard labor breaks bones. Water spreads disease. Streets bring injury. Injustice hangs over every class but one. Survival depends on strength, luck, and money. You feel weaker each hour. You leave the river and walk toward the market again. A crowd gathers around a storyteller. He speaks of heroes and gods. People cheer and clap. For a moment, they forget hardship. Stories give peace. Night arrives. You feel trapped. Where do you rest? Where do you find food? Rome looks large, but safe space feels small. You choose a doorway to lean against. Your body aches. Your stomach groans. You wonder how workers last a lifetime here. Many do not. Life ends early from hunger, infection, or collapse. This chapter shows how homes, jobs, and family life test every person in ancient Rome. The next chapter will take you into the arenas and games, where entertainment hides suffering. You will see why even the crowds face danger in those seats. You hear a new sound before sunrise. Metal gates slide. Trumpets blast. People rush toward the arena. You follow them. The Colosseum stands ahead, huge and bright in morning light. Crowds press against the entrance. Men, women, children, slaves, and nobles all wait for seats. You get pushed inside. You climb steep steps. Space fills fast. You sit on a hard stone bench. The sun hits your face. Sweat runs down your neck. The smell of wine, onions, and bodies fills the air. Vendors climb stairs with baskets. They sell olives, nuts, stale bread, and sour wine. You buy nothing. Your stomach twists already. A trumpet sounds. The crowd cheers. The first show begins. Hunters enter the arena. They carry spears and nets. A gate opens. A lion runs out. The crowd roars with excitement. The hunters throw spears and nets. The lion charges. One hunter stumbles. The lion snaps his arm. Blood sprays. The crowd cheers louder. You feel shock. The hunter screams. Another hunter stabs the lion. The animal collapses. The crowd claps. You taste metal in your mouth. You feel dizzy. The body gets dragged away. The sand hides blood, but not all of it. The next event starts. A line of prisoners walks into the arena. They look thin. They look terrified. Guards shove them forward. A second gate opens. Wolves rush out. The prisoners run, but nowhere to go. The wolves jump. The crowd points and laughs. Children laugh too. You turn your head, but the screams stay. You ask someone why the crowd enjoys this. The man shrugs. He says life feels easier when someone else suffers. He says the games distract people from hunger and disease. He pops an olive into his mouth and watches. Gladiators enter next. The crowd stands. These fighters train for years. Some fight for freedom. Some fight for pay. A few fight for the thrill. Their armor shines. Their muscles shake with tension. The referee signals. Blades clash. One gladiator takes a cut across his leg. Blood runs down his calf. The crowd chants his name. He limps but stands strong. His opponent slams a shield into his chest. He falls. The crowd waits. They hold, thumbs out. They choose his fate. The referee looks at the noble box. A noble waves his hand. The winning gladiator raises his sword. The fallen fighter lifts his head once, then nothing. The crowd cheers. You feel sick. You ask how many die here each year. The man beside you shrugs again. Many. Rome sees death daily. The games remind everyone what life costs. Bodies get dragged off. Sand gets raked. The show continues. Between battles, the arena hosts odd contests. Blindfolded men chase pigs. Bears ride wooden platforms pushed by slaves. A clown juggles knives. Everyone laughs when he drops one and cuts his finger. He bows and bleeds. You watch the crowd as much as the games. Some chant. Some bet on fighters. Some argue. A bucket of wine spills on a woman. She screams. A fight breaks out in the seats. Guards run upstairs and drag men away. One guard hits a man with a baton. The man falls down steps. No one stops the fight below. The games continue. The heat grows. Sweat drips. Flies buzz. People fan themselves with scraps of cloth. A child faints. Her mother shakes her until she wakes. A vendor sells water at a high price. He scoops it from a dirty barrel. People buy it anyway. The next event brings exotic animals. Elephants lumber out. The crowd gasps. Trainers direct them to lift logs and bow. The show feels calmer until a trumpet startles one. It charges. It crushes a trainer. The crowd screams. Guards throw spears until the elephant falls. People cheer again. You stare at the dust rising from its body. A rich noble in the front row waves a handkerchief. He demands another show. The announcer calls for chariot races. The arena floor changes fast. Workers sweep sand. Horses enter. Charioteers strap reins around their forearms. The gates open. Horses burst forward. Wheels shake. Dust explodes. Chariots slam into each other. One flips. The driver gets dragged across the ground until the horses stop. The crowd stands and shouts. Bets change hands. Coins pass from palm to palm. You try to leave, but the gate guards stop movement until the event ends. You stay seated. A chariot turns to sharp. The wheel shatters. A wood shard flies into the crowd. It hits a man in the chest. He falls over. People shout. He bleeds on the stone steps. His family screams. Guards push them back. The race continues. When the gates open, you run outside. The sun burns overhead. You breathe air that smells of sweat and dust. Your heart pounds. Your hands shake. You walk away fast. You thought you would find entertainment. You found suffering. The arena takes life from animals, prisoners, slaves, and even spectators. You understand now why people say no one survives long in ancient Rome. Danger comes from every direction. You sit near a fountain. You wash your hands. The water feels warm. The crowd walks past you. Some laugh about the games. Some argue over bets. Some wipe sweat from their faces. Life continues as if nothing happened. You think of the gladiators. They sleep in barracks. They train until muscles tear. Many die in their 20s. Some hope for freedom if they survive enough fights. But few do. Their graves line roads outside the city. Families rarely visit. Their names fade fast. You see the contrast. Rome builds temples, roads, and statues. Yet Rome feeds on suffering. The games keep crowds quiet. They distract from hunger and disease. They remind people of power. The cost remains hidden under sand and stone. Night draws near. You walk back through narrow streets. You hear music from taverns. You hear arguments from windows. You see laundry hanging in the breeze. Life looks normal on the surface, but the memory of the arena sits heavy in your chest. This chapter shows how entertainment in ancient Rome held danger for everyone. The next chapter will take you into Roman medicine and daily disease. You will see why sickness spread so fast and why treatment often made suffering worse. You wake up with a dry throat and a pounding head. Your skin feels hot. You look for water. You drink from a clay cup at a roadside stall. The water tastes strange. You swallow anyway. You hope it helps. It only makes your stomach twist harder. You feel the start of sickness. Roman streets spread disease fast. People live close. Waste fills gutters. Flies land on food. Water lines often carry filth. Illness moves through crowds as fast as gossip. Fever, cough, stomach cramps, sores, and rashes mark daily life. Children fall sick each week. Old people shake with chills. Few treatments help. You look for a doctor. You walk toward a small medical shop. The doctor sits on a stool. His tools lie on a table. Blades, hooks, needles, clamps. Some shine, some rust. None look clean. He touches them with bare hands. He treats patient after patient without washing. You tell him your symptoms. He nods without looking up. He checks your eyes. He pokes your stomach. He asks if you ate bad food. You nod. He points to a jar of herbs. He grinds them into powder. He mixes them with honey. He hands you the mixture. The honey covers the taste, but the herbs feel rough in your throat. He orders you to rest. He offers a tonic made from wine and crushed leaves. You pay coins. You drink. It burns your tongue. You leave the shop with a dull ache in your chest. You feel no better. Roman doctors do little to stop infection. They know little about germs. They blame sickness on bad air or angry spirits. They cut sick people with unclean blades. They drain blood from weak bodies. They purge stomachs with harsh herbs. Many patients die from treatment, not illness. You walk past a temple of healing. Priests welcome sick people. They burn incense. They chant prayers. They place hands on foreheads. Some patients lie on mats in long rows. Some shake from fever. Some stare at the ceiling with blank eyes. You feel fear press against your ribs. You leave fast. Public baths spread disease faster. People share water, towels, and sponges. Sores mix with sweat in warm pools. You see a man with a cough spit into the water. Others swim near him. No one reacts. Illness hides in every drop. Slums suffer most. Families live in tight rooms. Smoke from cook fires fills lungs. Children breathe it day and night. Many grow weak. A mother holds a baby with a rash. She rocks the child. She sings. The baby stops crying. The mother smiles. The baby does not wake again. Funeral carts move through streets each day. 2 slaves pull a cart with a body wrapped in cloth. A priest walks beside them. He shakes incense. He speaks a short prayer. No crowd follows. Death becomes normal. You try to rest at a bathhouse courtyard. You find a shaded bench. You sit. A woman next to you coughs into her sleeve. She spits blood into a bowl. She wipes her mouth with cloth and tucks it into her belt. You stand and walk away. You smell burning herbs near a corner. A healer sells smoke for good health. People pay to breathe the smoke. They believe it pushes sickness out. You watch them inhale. Some faint from heat. The healer smiles. He collects more coins. Another healer treats leg wounds with wine and hot iron. The patient screams. The healer presses the iron on skin. The wound sits. The healer says it stops infection. The patient shakes. You look away. Burn scars replace old wounds. Women treat sickness at home. They boil cabbage and garlic. They rub oil on skin. They pray at small shrines. Some children recover. Some do not. Mothers bury them outside city walls. Fathers dig shallow holes. They place small toys beside bodies. They do not speak. Doctors often study animals. They cut goats and pigs to learn about bodies. They guess how human organs work. They write scrolls with wrong theories. These ideas stay in practice for centuries. When patients trust doctors, they risk death. Wealthy families hire private physicians. These doctors know herbs better. They own cleaner tools. They keep patients in quiet rooms. Rich patients stand better chance. But even noble houses lose children. Infections strike fast. You walk past a military clinic near a camp. Surgeons treat wounded soldiers. They pour wine on cuts. They stitch skin with rough thread. They amputate limbs with saws. No one uses pain relief. Soldiers bite leather straps and scream. Many die from infection days later. You see why life in Rome ends early. Illness spreads fast. Treatment fails. Fear follows every cough. You feel your own fever rise. Your legs shake. You search for shade. You lean against a wall. Sweat drips down your face. You think about your first day. You think about the arena. You think about the streets. Rome looks strong, but life here feels fragile. A woman offers you a clay cup of herbal tea. She says her mother makes it for travelers. You drink. The taste feels bitter, but clean. Your stomach settles a little. Your head throbs less. She smiles and wishes you strength. Kindness feels rare here. You nod in thanks. You sit on a step near a bakery. Heat from the oven warms your back. Bread smells strong. The baker hands out flat pieces to tired workers. You watch them eat in silence. Hunger pushes heavier than sickness. You take a small piece. You chew slow. The bread hurts your cracked tooth, but you swallow. You think about leaving Rome. You think about open space, clean air, and safe water. But you feel trapped. No one leaves without coins, strength, and luck. You have none of those. You watch the sun move across roofs. Time feels heavy. When night returns, you hear coughing from every window. You hear groans. You hear prayers. You close your eyes. You do not sleep. You wait for morning. Rome tests you again. This chapter shows how disease and medicine make life. Short in ancient Rome, the next chapter will show how law, punishment, and violence shape daily fear. You will walk near prisons, courts, and execution grounds. Morning feels colder than before. Smoke hangs over the streets. You hear metal striking metal in the distance. Bells ring, guards march. Law in Rome works fast and often without mercy. You walk toward the forum where trials take place. Crowds gather. They want drama. They want punishment. You stand behind them and watch. A man in chains stands before a magistrate. He shakes, his shirt tears at the shoulder. Guards hold him steady. A merchant accuses him of theft. The merchant speaks with calm words. The accused speaks with fear. No lawyer stands beside him. Few have lawyers. The magistrate listens for a moment, then signals. The guards drag the man away. No long trial. No chance to gather witnesses. The crowd stays silent. Justice in Rome belongs to those with money or influence. You follow the guards as they march the prisoner toward a wooden platform. A crowd forms again. Children sit on shoulders to watch. The prisoner kneels. The executioner steps forward with a short blade. The crowd leans in. The blade flashes. The body falls still. The cleanup starts before the blood dries. People walk away as if nothing happened. You feel sick. You step back. A woman next to you shrugs. She says Rome needs order. She says fear keeps people in line. She walks off to buy bread. Not all punishment ends in death. Some criminals get whipped in public. You turn a corner and see a man tied to a post. His back bleeds. Each strike opens new wounds. People gather and stare. Some laugh. Some look away. The guard counts each lash. The man collapses and hangs half-conscious. His family waits nearby. They cannot help. Fights break out in streets without warning. Knives flash. Clubs swing. Guards run across rooftops and drop into alleys. They beat both sides until they stop moving. They drag bodies toward cells. Some survive. Some do not. You reach a prison near the forum. The entrance smells of human waste. The walls drip with damp. Cells hold men and women in the dark. Some sit chained. Some lie on the ground. Rats run across straw. Guards toss scraps of bread into cells. Prisoners rush forward like starving dogs. Hunger makes them fight each other for small bites. Many die before trial. A guard waves you away. You step back into sunlight. The light feels harsh after the dark. You hear drums outside the city walls. You walk toward the noise. A crowd stands near a cross. A prisoner hangs there with ropes around his arms. His head falls forward. His chest rises slow. Soldiers stand guard. Some people watch in silence. Crucifixion teaches fear. Rome uses it to warn rebels and slaves. The victim hangs for hours or days. You turn away. You think about how law feels here. Rome keeps order with terror. Small crimes bring big pain. Big crimes bring slow death. No one trusts strangers. No one speaks too loud. Fear rules every step. You walk past the guards' barracks. Soldiers polish weapons. They drill in rows. They look strong and tired. Some hold scars across faces and arms. They treat citizens with distance. They hold the peace, but they strike fast if someone defies orders. You see a crowd near a corner. Two men gamble with dice. They shout. Coins clatter. One man accuses another of cheating. He draws a dagger. The crowd steps back. Before he swings, a guard grabs him. The guard punches his nose. Blood sprays. The guard drags him away. No one tries to argue. Roman courts hold trials for nobles too, but nobles often escape punishment. Wealth buys influence. Influence buys freedom. Poor citizens face the harshest hands. Slaves face even worse. Their owners hold total power. Owners beat, brand, or sell them. Owners order slaves to fight animals for sport. Slaves have no rights. You take a narrow street toward the river. You stumble across a small shrine. A man kneels before a statue. He offers small coins to a god of justice and protection. He prays to stay safe from thieves and guards. Rome holds many gods, but justice stays thin. Not all violence hides under law. Gangs roam poor districts at night. They steal, beat, and break doors. They force merchants to pay for safety. If merchants refuse, they burn shops. People whisper gang names in fear. You listen, but say nothing. A tavern door swings open. Two men fall into the street. Their fists swing. One lands on stone. His head hits hard. His eyes close. The other man runs. The crowd watches. No one helps the man on the street. You kneel and touch his shoulder. No breath. You stand and walk away. You reach the execution ground again. You see fresh posts and ropes. Workers set them for new punishments. They dig holes for bodies. They look bored and move fast. Death becomes routine. As night arrives, torches light the streets. Guards patrol in pairs. Their armor They stop strangers and ask questions. You feel their eyes study your clothes and face. You answer calm. They let you walk. You think about leaving the city gates. You follow a road toward the walls. The guards stop you. They ask for purpose. You have no answer. They order you back inside. Cities often lock gates at night. No escape. You sit near a fountain and watch the moon rise. The water ripples. People avoid eye contact. Fear sits behind every glance. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your slow breath. When you finally find a place to rest, sleep feels thin. Each sound wakes you. Dogs bark, men shout. Boots run on stone. Someone screams in the distance. You pull your knees to your chest and wait for morning. This chapter shows how Rome controls its people through fear, punishment, and swift violence. The next chapter will reveal how war shaped Rome and how soldiers lived through pain and blood far from home. You will march with them. You wake before sunrise. A horn sounds near the barracks. Soldiers gather in formation. Their armor shines in the dim light. Their sandals scrape stone. Their faces look older than their age. Years of marching and battle take strength from them. A centurion shouts orders. The soldiers lift shields and swords. They form tight ranks. They march across the field. Dust rises with every step. You follow from a distance. You feel the ground shake under their feet. A messenger arrives. He hands a scroll to the centurion. The orders tell them to prepare for campaign. The soldiers look tired, but no one questions. Rome demands obedience. They pack gear. They carry heavy loads. Spears, food, water skins, armor, and bedding weigh down their backs. You watch blacksmiths hammer iron into weapon parts. Sparks fly across stone floors. Slaves pump bellows to feed fire. The smiths sweat and grunt. They know broken swords kill soldiers faster than enemies. Their work saves lives, though few thank them for it. Before departure, priests bless the legion. They light incense. They offer a goat. Blood spills across the altar. Soldiers stay silent. Some stare at the ground. Some close their eyes. They hope for fortune on the long road ahead. The march begins. You walk beside them through the city gates. Dust coats your feet. The sun rises. Heat builds. Soldiers do not slow. Their steps never break rhythm. They march until their shoulders ache and lungs burn. When they stop, they set up camp with fast precision. Ditches, stakes, tents. The camp becomes a small town within minutes. You see how strict army life feels. If a soldier drops gear, a centurion strikes him. If he steps out of line, punishment follows. Discipline rules every move. Soldiers wake before dawn. They drill all morning. They march or build all afternoon. They eat plain food. Bread, porridge, beans. Meat feels rare. Sleep comes on hard ground. War changes. You speak to a soldier with a missing finger. He fought in a cold battle. Frostbite took 2 fingers and half an ear. He shrugs. He says many lose more. Another soldier limps on a bad knee. He still marches. No one stops because of pain. The legion reaches a training field outside the city. They practice throwing javelins. The javelins hit targets with dull thuds. They swing swords at straw dummies. They thrust shields forward. They form turtle formation with shields overhead and in front. Arrows bounce off the shields. The formation holds strong. A veteran shows you scars. A long scar across his ribs from a spear. Another on his thigh from a sword. He says Rome does not remember those who fall. Graves fill fields in far lands. Names fade. Only victory matters. War brings fear to families as well. Wives wait for letters that never come. Children grow up with empty chairs at dinner. Mothers pray at temples. They offer bread and wine to gods for safe return. Many cry in silence. You hear stories from soldiers around a fire. They talk about deserts, mountains, and forests. They talk about enemies with strange weapons. Some talk with pride. Others speak with tired voices. They miss home. They miss their beds. Some have no home left because war burned their villages. Army camps spread sickness fast. Men live close. They share tools, bowls, and bedding. Wounds get infected. Food spoils in heat. Water turns foul. Surgeons cut limbs with saws. Pain fills night air with screams. Some men swallow herbs and hope for rest. Others grit teeth until sleep comes. The soldiers dig trenches and build fort walls everywhere they stop. Their hands grow hard. Backs bend. Shoulders strain. They build roads, bridges, walls, and forts for Rome. Their sweat shapes the empire. Their lives pay the cost. You watch a group of soldiers train recruits. The recruits drop shields from exhaustion. The instructor shouts and swings a vine stick. The stick hits hard. The recruits pick shields back up. No mercy. Weak men do not last long. Many soldiers join the army for pay and food. Some join for honor. Some join because they have no other path. Once they join, Rome owns their future. They march until bones ache. They fight until they fall. When soldiers return from battle, some carry gold and slaves. Some return broken and poor. Many walk with limps. Many cough blood. Some lose sight in one eye. Some lose families while they are away. War takes more than it gives. Veterans with no money sleep under arches or near markets. They beg for food. Some sell small trinkets. Others tell stories for coins. Rome praises their service in speech, but offers little help. You watch soldiers pack their gear again. They prepare to leave Rome for a distant frontier. You ask where they go. A soldier shrugs. North or east or south. Rome always fights somewhere. The centurion orders silence. The march begins again. Dust rises behind them. You stand alone on the road. You return to the city. You see children playing with wooden swords in alleys. They strike imaginary enemies. They shout victory. They do not understand where real swords lead. You feel respect for the soldiers. You feel sadness too. Their lives hold danger every hour. Their bodies break before old age. Many never see home again. This empire rests on their backs. Night falls. You return to the streets. Torches flicker against walls. You hear armored boots moving. You know the army stands ready to crush riots or rebellion. Everyone stays quiet. This chapter shows how Rome expands and controls through war and military strength. The next chapter will take you into Roman religion, superstition, and fear of unseen forces. You will see how people search for meaning when life feels short and harsh. You feel drained from what you saw. You look for quiet. You head toward a temple hill. Marble columns stand tall. Smoke rises from braziers. Priests chant. Citizens kneel with bowed heads. You walk closer. You smell incense and burnt grain. Offerings sit on stone tables. Bread, fruit, coins, and flowers. People pray for health, wealth, sun, rain, and safe homes. They ask gods for peace. Religion shapes every step in Rome. People fear curses as much as hunger. They avoid crossroads at night. They whisper before entering dark alleys. They tie charms to children for safety. Every sickness, storm, fire, or death feels like anger from gods. You see a priest reading bird signs. Birds circle overhead. The priest studies their path and wings. He tells citizens if the day brings luck or danger. People listen with wide eyes. They plan work or travel by his words. A line of men approaches the temple. They lead a bull decorated with ribbons. The animal walks slow. Muscles twitch under skin. The crowd gathers. A priest raises a blade. One stroke ends the bull's life. Blood spills across stone. The crowd watches in silence. The priest burns parts of the animal. Smoke rises to the sky. People believe the gods smell the smoke and feel pleased. You find a fortune teller near the marketplace. She wears colored cloth and carries a small box of bones. She shakes the bones in her hand and drops them on a table. She studies their shape and position. She tells a young couple they face hardship soon. The couple pay coins and leave with pale faces. You ask her if she believes her own words. She looks at you without answer. Superstition rules daily choices. Sailors will not set sail on certain days. Merchants will not travel if they see strange signs. Mothers keep iron charms in cribs. Men carve symbols on doorposts. People spit over shoulders to block bad spirits. You reach a small shrine hidden between buildings. A woman cleans the altar with water. She lights a lamp. She places a clay figure of a household spirit. Most homes keep small shrines like this. Families pray before meals. They ask spirits to guard their sleep. Faith comforts them when sickness or hunger hits. At the forum, you pass a group listening to a philosopher. He speaks of reason. He says fear holds minds in chains. He says no God strikes with plague or fire. Some nod, some shake heads. A few call him a fool. Guards keep watch. Rome tolerates debate, but only to a point. You hear musicians near a temple of Apollo. They play pipes and drums. Dancers move in a circle. Children clap hands. For a moment, people forget pain. Music gives them breath. Laughter fills the air. You feel lighter. A funeral procession passes by. Priests chant. A musician plays a slow tune. Slaves carry the body. Family follows. They throw herbs and petals on the path. They hope the spirits guide the soul. Death and religion mix in every street. You visit a healer who blends faith and herbs. She uses ointments on wounds. She prays over the patient. She chants soft words. The patient relaxes. You watch her wrap cloth around a cut. The wound still bleeds, but the patient looks calmer. Faith helps pain, even without cure. Some people believe wrong spirits bring sickness. They hire exorcists, shout at unseen forces. They ring bells, burn smoke, and draw symbols. The sick breathe the smoke and cough hard. Some faint. Families think the spirit leaves. Sometimes the sick recover. Sometimes they die. Faith holds power even when medicine fails. You reach a cave outside the city where oracles speak. People wait in line. They hand coin to a priest. He leads them inside. Voices echo inside the cave. Some leave smiling. Some leave crying. You ask a man what he heard. He says the oracle told him his wife will survive childbirth. He holds hope in his eyes. You walk away with mixed feelings. Night falls. You see lamps lit outside homes. People leave offerings of food for wandering spirits. They hope spirits pass without harm. Children stay inside. Dogs bark at shadows. The wind carries smoke and faint voices from distant temples. You sit on a stone step and watch stars cover the sky. Romans name stars after gods and heroes. They believe signs hide in constellations. They think stars guide fate. You try to find comfort in the night air. The quiet feels rare. You reflect on religion in Rome. It gives comfort and fear at the same time. It orders life. It explains storms, sickness, wars, and death. It gives rituals for every moment. Birth, marriage, and burial all pass through the hands of priests and spirits. Some Romans lose faith after hardship. Some hold faith tighter. Some mix faith with reason. The city never agrees, but everyone respects the gods in public. To ignore rituals brings trouble. Priests hold influence. Temples hold wealth. Religious festivals bring crowds and noise. Processions fill streets with music, flower garlands, and animal offerings. Children run with painted faces. Workers dance in circles. For one day, life feels safe. You see why religion mattered here. Life offered pain. Faith offered comfort. You think of your first day. You think of sickness, violence, and hunger. You understand why people turn to gods and spirits. They need hope in every breath. This chapter shows how belief shapes Roman life. Faith sits in every home, street, and temple. The next chapter will show how money, trade, and greed rule the markets. You will learn how people rise and fall over coins and goods. You wake with sore legs and slow breath. You walk toward the market district again. The sun rises above rooftops. Merchants set up stalls. Donkeys haul carts filled with goods. Buyers wait with small bags of coins. Shouts fill the air. Trade drives Rome. Money pulls every person into its grip. You stop at a stall packed with grain sacks. The merchant lifts a handful of wheat to show quality. He smiles and speaks loud. He wants buyers to trust him. A woman touches the grain and frowns. She says insects hide in the sacks. The merchant argues. People listen. They know grain prices change with storms, war, or famine. One bad harvest forces bread to shrink and riots to rise. You move to the olive oil stall. Large clay jars line the table. The seller pours a small taste into cups. The oil smells strong. A buyer pays too much, but oil flavors every meal, lights lamps, and treats wounds. Merchants know their goods hold power. They hide thin oil with thick oil. They water down wine. They stretch spices with dust. No guard checks their honesty. Goldsmiths work nearby. They weigh coins on scales. They melt metal in crucibles. Their fingers fly with practiced skill. They shape rings and necklaces for nobles. Wealth shines bright in Rome. Plunder from wars flows through these streets. Gold from distant lands buys villas, servants, banquets, and fine cloth. You see a money changer with tables stacked with coins. People trade currency from every province. Rome rules lands with many tongues and customs. Merchants exchange foreign silver and bronze for Roman coin. Money changers take fees for every trade. Some cheat by shaving coins or swapping pure metal for cheap alloys. Customers argue. Guards watch from a distance, but rarely interfere unless bribed. You walk past slave markets. You see rows of men, women, and children sold like livestock. They stand with signs around necks listing age, skills, and health. Buyers inspect teeth and muscles. Prices rise for strong bodies and special skills. Children sell fast because they grow into cheap labor. Families break apart without a word. You feel the heaviness of it. Slavery fuels Rome. Every trade, road, farm, mill, and workshop runs on forced labor. You reach the harbor. Ships unload goods from across seas. Wine from Greece, spices from Africa, silk from the east, and timber from northern forests. Dock workers sweat under heavy crates. Overseers shout commands. Sailors count damaged cargo. A crate breaks and spills clay pots onto the dock. Some crack. The captain curses and demands payment from the seller. Another argument begins. Fish merchants gut tuna and mackerel. Blood runs into the water. Pickpockets move through crowds. They cut purse strings and vanish. Harbor guards search for them, but thieves move fast. You guard your pockets and keep moving. You hear a moneylender speak to a farmer. The farmer needs coin for seed. The lender offers a loan with high interest. The farmer accepts. If he fails to repay, the lender takes land. Many families fall into debt. Debt drags them into slavery. The farmer shakes the lender's hand with a forced smile. You find a craftsman selling clay lamps. His hands shake from long hours. His wife paints designs on pottery. Their stall holds beautiful work, but nobles buy gold lamps instead. The craftsman pleads with buyers. Some pay small coins. Some walk past without looking. Competition crushes small shops. Big merchants own warehouses and buy cheaper goods in bulk. Small craftsmen struggle each season. Trade rules, daily life. Even funerals, weddings, and festivals depend on money. A priest charges for animal offerings. A builder charges for tombs. A musician charges for wedding tunes. Without coins, families lose status. You watch a man try to sell rotten fruit. He sprays wine on it to hide the smell. A buyer bites a piece and spits it out. He shouts and pushes the seller. A small fight breaks out. A guard approaches, takes a bribe, and walks away. Law bends for money. In taverns, gamblers toss dice across tables. Coins slide from hand to hand. Winners grin. Losers curse. Tempers flare. Knives appear. Some men leave with empty purses. Some leave with broken noses. The tavern owner shrugs. Fights attract crowds. Crowds buy wine. Merchants form secret deals. They set prices in back rooms. They agree to raise or lower costs together. Rome has no laws to stop market control. The poor suffer first. Bread lines grow longer when grain prices rise. Bread shrinks. Crowds grow tense. Soldiers guard bakeries during shortages. You sit by a fountain and watch buyers carry heavy bags. Some leave smiling with full baskets. Some leave angry after losing coins on bad deals. Children beg for food scraps. Merchants ignore them. A woman drops a small date into a child's hand. The child runs before the mother sees. A tax collector approaches shops with a scroll. He counts every loaf of bread and every pot sold. He collects taxes from merchants. Some merchants argue. The collector marks their names. They pay later or lose stalls. Tax collectors often demand bribes. They take coin for lighter numbers on scrolls. Merchants hate them but obey. You feel how greed shapes the city. Coins rule hearts. Coins buy comfort and protection. Without coins, you fall into hunger, criminal gangs, or slavery. Trade brings wealth to Rome, but only a few enjoy the top. Most fight for scraps. Night arrives. Lanterns hang from stall roofs. The market winds down. Merchants lock goods in storage. Guards patrol the squares. Rats crawl toward leftover scraps. Dogs chase them. You hear footsteps behind you. A thief tries to snatch your belt. You grab his wrist. He pulls free and runs. Your heart races. Danger never stops. You sit near a column and think about what you saw. Rome looks strong because trade connects continents. But greed poisons trust. Every handshake hides a risk. Every coin passed holds weight. People spend life chasing profit and survival at the same time. This chapter shows how trade, money, and greed shape ancient Rome. The next chapter will take you behind closed doors. You will step into Roman homes, kitchens, bedrooms, and family life. You will see how private life holds fear and hardship too. You walk toward the housing districts again. The streets narrow. Laundry hangs from ropes. Dogs sleep in doorways. You hear plates clatter inside kitchens. You want to see how families live behind stone walls. Rome shows one face in streets, another inside homes. You reach a villa owned by a wealthy merchant. Slaves clean steps. A guard blocks the door until the master waves you in. The air inside feels cooler. Mosaic floors shine. Statues stand in corners. A fountain splashes in the atrium. Light reflects off still water. Servants move without sound. They bring fruit, wine, and bread. You watch a child eat grapes while a tutor teaches letters. The child yawns and pushes tablets aside. A servant wipes his hands. Wealth changes every breath here. You hear laughter from a dining room. Men recline on couches. Slaves serve roasted fish and sweet cakes. The guests drink wine mixed with honey. They gossip about politics and trade. They laugh at stories of street fights. They never worry about hunger or cold. They sleep on soft beds. They bathe in private baths. Their lives feel safe, though disease finds them too. You leave the villa and walk to a small insula nearby. The staircase creaks. Walls crack. Families live in one room each. A mother stirs a pot of beans. Her children sit on the floor and wait. The father counts coins. He sighs. Rent takes most of his pay. He hands coins to a landlord who stands at the doorway with arms crossed. The landlord leaves with a full purse. The family eats thin soup. Next door, a man coughs on a straw bed. His wife presses a cold cloth on his head. She prays to household spirits. His breath rattles. She wipes tears from her face. Sickness stays close in small rooms. Smoke from cooking fires clouds the ceiling. Mold creeps along walls. Rats scratch at boards. A baby cries in another room. A young mother rocks her child. She has no milk. She dips bread in water and squeezes drops into the baby's mouth. The child drinks weakly. If the child survives, hunger will return tomorrow. If not, the mother buries another child outside the walls and waits for another chance. Marriages in Rome work through family duty. Fathers choose husbands for daughters. Weddings bring music and bread, but love comes later or not at all. Husbands hold power. Wives run homes, cook, clean, sew, raise children, and honor ancestors. A wife who disobeys faces shame or worse. Some women push back in quiet ways. They hide coins. They teach daughters strength. They whisper secrets through cracks in walls. Children play in alleys with sticks and scraps of cloth. They chase chickens. They splash in dirty puddles. They laugh until hunger pulls them home. Some children start work early. They carry messages, sort grain, serve wine, or sweep shops. Childhood ends fast. You meet a slave girl sweeping a courtyard. Her owner shouts at her for dropping a cup. She bows her head and continues. She sleeps on a mat near the kitchen. She wakes before dawn and works until midnight. Slaves serve as cooks, cleaners, teachers, nannies, and guards. Some earn freedom after years. Most do not. Owners decide their fate with one word. At night, families gather around small oil lamps. They eat bread, olives, onions, and beans. They talk about market prices and sick neighbors. They fear rent rises. They pray no thief climbs through windows. Walls hold thin protection from streets. In rich homes, nights look different. Musicians play soft tunes. Guests sip wine. Women wear silk shawls. Men talk of politics. Children sleep on clean sheets. Servants blow out lamps before midnight. Silence fills wide halls. Every home, rich or poor, holds fear. Earthquakes shake walls. Fires spread fast through insulation. One spark from a lamp sets roofs blazing. Families run into streets with nothing. Neighbors scream. Slaves carry buckets. Some buildings fall. Survivors stand in ashes. You hear gossip about a senator's wife. She hides secret letters from a lover. A servant finds the letters and demands coin to stay silent. Secrets spread through homes like smoke. Families break under the weight of betrayal. Honor matters. Rumors ruin lives. You pass a workshop behind a house. A man weaves baskets. His daughter threads reeds with small hands. They work by lamplight. They sell baskets for low prices. Money barely feeds them. They hold hope in work, though hope feels thin. In some homes, fathers beat children for small mistakes. In others, fathers drink until they sleep on floors. Mothers clean and comfort children. Some parents try to shield children from pain. Others accept harsh life as fate. You speak with a midwife. She helps women give birth in cramped rooms. She carries herbs and cloths. Births bring joy and fear. Many mothers bleed and never stand again. Many babies breathe only once. The midwife says she sees death more than life. She carries memories in her eyes. You smell garlic and smoke from a kitchen. A woman bakes flatbread on stones. She invites you to taste. The bread feels warm. You thank her. She smiles. Small kindness feels strong in rooms full of hardship. You notice small decorations in poor homes. Clay lamps with painted birds. Carved wood toys. Simple bracelets. People hold small beauty close. It gives comfort when life feels heavy. In wealthier homes, bedrooms hold soft blankets and carved trunks. Perfume jars sit on shelves. Poets read verses to noble families. Music plays while slaves pour wine. Yet fear still waits. Fire, sickness, and unrest do not care about wealth. You see how family life shapes each soul. Some homes fill with laughter. Some fill with silent sorrow. Some break under hunger. Some stand through storms. Rome shows strength outside, but inside walls people fight private battles every day. You walk back into the street. You hear arguments, lullabies, and coughing. You smell food and smoke. You feel heat from open windows. You think of families you saw. Their lives stay hidden from public view, but they hold the real story of Rome. This chapter shows how home life brings struggle and rare comfort. The next chapter will bring you to the end of this journey. You will see how one full day in ancient Rome wears down body and spirit. You will feel the weight of survival as the story closes. You reach the last night of this long day. Your feet feel raw. Your stomach feels tight. Your head pounds. You find a quiet corner near a warehouse wall. You sit on a broken step. The moon hangs low. Torches flicker in the distance. Rome never sleeps. The noise only slows. You think back to your first steps through the gates. Dust hit your lungs. Crowds pushed your shoulders. Danger greeted you before you spoke a word. You saw streets filled with filth, thieves, and spoiled food. You tasted bread with pebbles. You drank water thick with poison. You slept on stone while rats sniffed your feet. The city hit you hard in one night. You saw families crammed in small rooms. Fathers counted coins and prayed rent would not rise. Mothers rocked tired babies. Children worked long hours or waited for thin soup. You saw sickness creep across faces. Coughs echoed down stairways. Death waited near each window. You watched slaves bend under heavy stones, chains cut into skin. Fear guided every step. You saw landlords take coin from starving families. You saw tax collectors demand payment with no pity. The rich ate cakes while beggars slept in gutters. Rome shined with marble, but misery stood behind every column. You smelled burning flesh in the arena. You saw blood soak the sand. Men cheered while prisoners died. You saw lions fall under spears. You saw gladiators fight for freedom that rarely came true. You saw a wood shard strike a man in the crowd. Pain traveled from arena to seats with one sharp burst. No one stopped the show. You entered temples filled with smoke and prayers. People asked gods for food, health, and safe births. They paid priests for blessings. They trusted omens drawn from birds and bones. Fear of unseen forces shaped every choice. You saw how faith comforted hearts when life felt short. You marched with soldiers on dusty roads. Shields scraped armor. Boots struck ground. They built camps before sleep. They trained until muscles trembled. They fought wars for emperors they never met. Many returned broken. Many never returned at all. Lives lost far from home filled silent graveyards under foreign skies. You walked through markets ruled by greed. Merchants cut prices or raised them without warning. Cheapest goods carried hidden dangers. Buyers argued. Thieves sliced purse strings. Bargains ended with fists and knives. The poor risked hunger. The rich risked nothing. You stepped inside villas and insulated. One held fountains and music. The other held smoke and silent pain. In both, fear stayed. Fire, sickness, riots, or a twist of fate struck without warning. Now you sit in the dark. You look at the stars. You think about one full Roman day. You did not swing a sword. You did not march to war. You did not fight in the arena. You only walked, watched, and breathed. Still, you feel broken. You feel older than when you arrived. A stray dog walks near you. It sniffs your hand and curls up at your side. You rest a hand on its back. Its ribs press under thin fur. Even animals struggle here. A man across the street scrubs blood from the stones. His shoulders sag. His son stands nearby holding a small lamp. The light trembles in his hand. The man finishes cleaning and tosses dirty rags aside. He lifts his son and kisses his forehead. They walk home. Hardship covers their night, but love remains. You see an old woman place bread on a doorstep. She knocks and walks away fast. A door opens. A child picks up the bread and runs inside. Small kindness keeps hearts alive. People help each other in quiet ways. They share scraps, blankets, and hope. Rome bruises them, but they hold each other up. A singer stands near a fountain. He strums a lyre with thin fingers. His voice fills the square. A few listeners gather. They drop small coins at his feet. A young couple sways to the music. For a short moment, peace settles over the stones. A baker's boy passes with leftover crusts. He gives one to the singer. The singer smiles. You see warmth in his eyes. He keeps singing. The night softens. Rome crushes many souls. It breaks bodies. It feeds on sweat and pain, but hidden moments show strength. People survive through love, music, work, and small kindness. They endure storms, hunger, and loss. They wake each morning and walk into the streets again. You stand, your legs shake. You step away from the warehouse. You walk toward the gate. Dawn approaches. You hear roosters crow. Shadows stretch across the ground. The sky turns pale blue. You pass guards who lean on spears with sleepy eyes. You walk through the gate without stopping. You look back one last time. The city rises with towers and smoke. The Tiber glimmers in low light. Streets fill with merchants and workers again. Life starts over. Rome continues. It does not care who stays or leaves. You breathe deep. You walk toward open land and silent fields. The air feels clean. You lift your face to morning wind. You survived a full day in ancient Rome. You felt hunger, sickness, fear, violence, greed, and grief. You witnessed life behind the statues and marble. You saw the cost of survival. You stepped into a world that looked glorious from far away but held pain at every turn. One day felt like a lifetime. Thank you for walking through ancient Rome. You saw the truth behind the walls. You felt how hard survival was. If you want another quiet story, our next video will take you through the silent streets of ancient Babylon before dawn. You will hear traders whisper and priests chant while the city sleeps. There is a free audio guide in the description. You can rest while it plays. Close your eyes now. Let the noise fade. History waits for you again soon.